G'day, this is Captainoob and this is the Cobra Officer's Revolver. This thing is a highly customizable revolver standalone type weapon and it's actually pretty neat. So looking at the models and textures there, it's going to look pretty good. Now getting into the attachments here, you can tell that this person, the modder, doesn't speak English as a main language. So we've chucked on the excellent receiver. I believe that is just the advanced receiver. Next up for the barrels, you've got the choice between long or powerful. If you choose powerful, it does a tiny little bit more damage, so we'll definitely do that. Next up for the grips, we've got the standard or the convenient grip, and conveniently we've got enough resources to chuck that on, so we'll definitely do that. That would probably mean the comfort grip. Next up for the sights, so we've got a standard sight, which is just the basic irons. They're glow sights already, so there's no need to have a little attachment thing there. Next up, you've got the scope there and another scope. I believe the difference here is just the zoom levels and targeting reticules, but I'm going to chuck on the reflex sight anyway because I feel like a reflex is a good thing to go with revolvers. Next up, we've got all of these cameras, which I'll just quickly scroll through so you can take a quick look at each of those. Feel free to pause the video to have a closer inspection. We'll go ahead and make this thing black because I saw a revolver and I want it painted black. Next up, so you've got the choice of how far this thing you want to zoom in with it, which is kind of nice, and that in turn increases your accuracy a little bit. So we'll go for a 1.5 because I probably want this weapon to reach out a little bit, although I probably won't get that much good range coming out of it, as you'll see later. Next up, so we've got the reticules for your little reflex sight here. What I think I like to do is chuck on the bullseye, but there are so many here. You could have a lot of fun just looking through those and seeing what kind of sights were put in here. Next up, so we've got the underbarrel attachments here. So we've got the blade here, which is the smallest little blade I've ever seen. Usually when I want a bayonet, I'd like one like the one on the handmade rifle, where it's just a big old knife out there. So that tiny little blade there probably isn't going to do you a lot of good. You can chuck a laser sight on it and that'll improve your hipfire accuracy, or a laser tracker, which I believe works like a recon scope. We'll chuck on that for better hipfire accuracy, and of course you get that legendary effect. So there you have it. That was the Officer's Revolver's attachments. Let's get into Gunner's Plaza now and see what this thing can do, huh? Alright, so here we are in Gunner's Plaza, and let's hope this thing is good. So, getting into this first shot here, as you can see, we've got that laser sight on, and as you can tell there, if we sort of stand still and not aim down sights or anything, we get perfect hipfire accuracy, and wow, we didn't actually knock out that turret there. That's a shame. Anyway, we'll get into killing these gunners right now. Probably don't really have to actually aim all that much because our hip fire is so good, but we'll try and kill these guys anyway. Now, the problem with this thing is it's not a hit scan weapon, so it's going to be hard for me to actually lead before these targets. Obviously, this thing is firing some sort of plasma round, which is great, but the only problem with that is it's going to take a half hour to bloody get down there, so when they're up and close like this is probably the way you want to do it. But that's not very good with a revolver because, as you can see, you have to cock the hammer back every time you shoot the bloody thing, so your DPS is really cut down by it. To have this thing be effective, like the Western Revolver, you really need it to make a whole lot of damage, or do a whole lot of damage. Okay, we'll bash that bloke to death, fine. Gunner down, that's fine. So what do you have left after this if your weapon can't perform in close quarters or at long range? Well, you have VATS. So let's get into using VATS, and you can stop shooting me right now, Gunner, that would be good. And the good thing about using this thing in VATS is, as you can tell there, you get a whole lot of shots, which means you can sit there, line up the shots, and let the game play itself for you, which is a little bit cheap, but the VATS is as overpowered as you make it, really. Alright, we three-shotted that gunner, which is good. We'll quickly get rid of these turrets. No, we'll slowly get rid of these turrets, apparently. That's fine. That one's only a Mark III, so we should one-shot it. Very good. Alright, so we're running low on a little bit of a health side here, so what I might do is go and just kill this gunner. It looks like we can't penetrate through that with this energy weapon, so that's a little bit bad. There we go, she managed to peek out just before we took that last shot, which is nice, and we'll quickly get rid of this bloke here. He's looking to hide around the corner. Well, we'll make him regret that. Anyway, go ahead and take on this gunner now and do another crit for her. and nothing too special about that shot there. Nothing's too great about the criticals. Maybe if this weapon wanted to be a VATS weapon, the modder would have increased the critical sort of damage of it, but as you can tell, it seems to be performing roundabout as well as a standard 44 Magnum in the game, which isn't an entirely bad weapon itself. In fact, I'd say the 44 Magnum performs better than it on account of being a hit scan weapon, because as you know, with my Stormtrooper aim, I can't really lead projectiles all that well, and it really throws my aim off, and we didn't hit that the first time, which is strange. But as you can tell, look at how long it sort of takes to get there. I mean, I expect weapons to be more of a hit scan at this point, so that's probably why my aim is so bad. I've just trained myself to actually shoot directly on the target rather than lead a little bit out or whatever. Anyway, so no point in being stealthy because, oh god, looks like every gunner and their mother is after me. Okay, time for a bit of gun through then. Should have 50% more damage on you, and do be critical. You know what? I'll revoke the last couple of hits and make sure I've got 2 crits on her. Might as well pop our own crits just to make sure this gunner dies. I think I actually wasted... No. Good. Okay, we did 4 shots on her then. Good. Only 3 shots on this gunner should do her in. Looks like we've got a lucky ricochet there. Not sure who that one killed. Didn't quite get that one. We'll try to... Oh, okay. There it is. It just took ages to do it. Alright, so we've got 2 shots on this particular gunner, and it's a guaranteed critical, so no, can't take them out. But luckily, Grim Reaper sprint proc somewhere during that little gun through thing there, so we can quickly go and kill this particular gunner. Or I should say slowly. Why am I even saying quickly? This thing is slow as a wet week. Okay, I've gone into Nerd Rage here. We'll just use that as an excuse to run up point blank and shoot her in the face, because we need to do a lot of damage with this thing and it really doesn't really happen. So nothing can be said about the animations. They're basically the same as what the revolvers are in the base game, so I'm a little bit disappointed that they didn't make it a weapon that doesn't have the bolt action tag, so you could fire it off as fast as you will, because it's meant to be a futuristic weapon, firing all the plasma bolts and whatever. So I really don't understand why you'd have to cock the bolt back every time, or the hammer back, I should say. I should use the correct terminology. So all in all, I'm not really impressed with this weapon, though it looks really nice and the sounds are vanilla game and well placed, honestly. But this thing proves to be just a shallow experience that I could get better from a weapon that is already in the base game. And if I wanted a plasma effect on it, I'd just chuck on the plasma infused legendary effect. So there you go, PS4 players. Not all of our mods are that spectacular, but I won't disparage the modder here for making just a bad performing weapon. They are very talented and have made a very good looking weapon indeed, so not to be too critical to the modder at all. It's just that this weapon just sucks in terms of stats, but everything else is great. Don't think I need to talk about how much this weapon just is underperforming anymore. And yep, looks like we're done with Gunner's Plaza there, and I don't think I could take this thing to have a stim pack first. You probably need it after all those bullets got into you. Yeah, we won't be taking on any monsters without any legendary effects, so we'll go ahead and chuck on, let's say, Furious effect. It'll take an hour to get there, but we might actually get a kill on Swan with that. Righto, so I'm done being salty about this weapon. I've just gone into the creation kit and checked marked or unchecked the bolt action check mark there, so now I can shoot like this. Yay! So high rate of fire means lots more furious bullets going at him, which means quicker kill and better damage. But unfortunately for me, I still have to get by a lengthy reload every 6 shots, which unfortunately means we're going to be vulnerable for a lot of the time. So instead, we'll just go for the alternative, bats him in the face until he dies. Now the good thing about this is all the guaranteed hits will get that stacking a little bit more, so we don't have to wait 15 or so minutes. Oh, stop missing. Okay, looks like if it's not a hit scan weapon, it sort of fails when it comes to being pushed around by giant enemies. Anyway, hopefully we haven't lost too much of the stacking. Nope, looks good. We'll just quickly get around here. Nope, we're just going to get staggered over and over and hit again. That's alright, it'll probably put us into nerd rage at some point and we can get even more damage on him. Or I get him wedged into a spot where he can only throw rocks, to which we'll just hide behind this tree and let that soak it up instead. So, yeah, that's good. Definitely doing much better damage on him now. Don't need to worry about being hit by that rock. Okay, now he's gone to mutation station. Please sit there and not do your anchor drop on me because that is very... Okay. I mistimed the bats thing there, so into nerd rage we go. And there we go, some good damage from this finally. So, I think that's about it for this weapon, and you can get a slow motion fall of Swan's death there as he glitches out because he's too big for the game engine to really handle a big ragdoll like that, I suppose. I'm not actually sure why that happens, but there you have it. That was the Cobra Officer Revolver. Not a big fan of it. If you're in the base game already, you'll have the Nuka World DLC and get another stim pack in you, why not? Go ahead and just use the Western Revolver instead. It wouldn't use any of your costly plasma cartridges to get this thing running, which are much better served in a plasma rifle anyway. So, I'm not really sure why you'd get this weapon. Maybe if you play on very easy or some other difficulty, then you'd find much use in it, but for very hard, taking on high level enemies, it is not going to cut it, which is unfortunate because the weapon in and of itself is a pretty well crafted thing with the meshes and textures and everything. So that's about it for that. Links will be in the description if you're interested. Thank you for watching.